Вы водичку тоже пейте, там, я думаю, что нормально, мы с вами. Okay. Hello, dear teachers. Thank you very much for coming. And today's topic is really hot, challenges for modern English teacher. And I'm discussing it with two charming speakers, Maria Knyazeva.
Hello there.
And Anastasiya Kichkireva. So, and I hope this information will be some kind of an eye-opener for you, and it will definitely make you think. So, a few words about our speakers. Maria, she gave a speech at Skyteach Festival in Kaliningrad, and together with Irina Gromova, she founded school #1 in Kaliningrad, which is the biggest private language center in the region, and the only one Cambridge certified center. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maria holds CELTA and CPE certificate, and she's an official Cambridge speaking examiner, and she organized the first public speaking event in Kaliningrad, ES Talks. Maria, was it event for teachers or for students?
It was an event for students, and we held 4 events, which were of great success, so it was really cool. Last time we had 30 speakers who were from the beginning, from the age of 8 till like 15, so it was for the younger ones, but it had 30 speakers, and we were impressed for ourselves.
Oh, awesome. Sounds fantastic. Okay, so thank you, Maria. And Anastasia, which you are colleagues, because I see you have a very nice sweatshorts.
Yeah,
branded sweatshorts, fantastic. So Anastasia is an authorized Cambridge speaking examiner. She has developed some tailor-made courses, conducted lots of webinars, and she runs a community for teachers in Anastasia with ideas on language, methodology of teaching, useful resources, and creative ideas. So thank you, ladies. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, just last week on Saturday, we became official Cambridge CPE examiners, proficiency examiners. So you can congratulate us on that.
Yeah, my congratulations. Cool. It's great. It's cool. Yeah, it's very high level, right? To be CPE. Okay. I think it's you spared many efforts into this. Okay, so guys, if you're watching us and you have any kind of questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat box. So ladies, challenges for a modern English teacher, right? Yeah. Let's think of a time or the time when you were both inexperienced teachers, just beginners. What challenges did you face, and which one was the most significant?
Well, I think I'll start because well, the first and very challenging challenge, I would say, for me was that when Irina first offered me to have a group, it was our first group. I was given a task to create a course in math and in science, my own courses, yeah, and neither math nor science were my strongest points, really. So because I really didn't have good marks in that, so I prepared around 5 hours for each class. And it was the first challenge. Then, like, to make things worse, I had a group of absolutely, like, very demanding children who were hard to please, let's say not easy to please. And the third, and I would say like the most important thing, was that I didn't have my own teaching style then. So I had to develop one straight away, because when I came to this group, I already had to have a style, and I didn't. So I had to develop my style, like, within like 1 day or something. So it was very challenging.
Right, but you survived, right?
I had to survive. I was sweaty, like after each class, and I had to go to the bathroom to wash. I was like, my God, I'm sweaty.
I remember this feeling when I started. Yes, I understand you. Anastasia, what about you?
Yeah, I think kind of the same. So I've always been an attention seeker, like from the early age. So for me, it has always been important. Yeah, to be listened to. So whatever, even when I just did a boring report in biology class, I really looked, I gave a very nice look to all classmates who didn't listen to me. So it was always very important for me to be listened to to be looked up to. Sort of, and I always, first of all, I posed myself as an entertainer, and then I understood that it was the wrong path to take, because I wanted to cut a very serious, an authoritative figure in front of my classmates, together with the person they could really respect and talk to and come up to an approach about anything. And one more point, you know, it's just was about inexperience. It just struck me because that some people might be watching us and looking at me and say, well, come on, she's just a girl. So why are you asking her about inexperience? Yeah, because I look pretty young. Maybe you too. And I mean, everybody, you all guys look yeah, and I just wanted to say that I think somewhere deep inside, I always feel like I'm a little bit inexperienced, and this is there's always something to be inexperienced in. So, and I never tell myself, okay, now I can relax and stop developing, because well, I'm always inexperienced in something.
Well, that's the, like, let's say, policy of our school, and that's the strategy. Like that's what we do. We're always a bit inexperienced, and there is always room for perfection.
Room for perfection, yeah.
Of course, of course. Live and learn. It will never stop for English teachers. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Maria, I enjoyed your talk at Skyteach Festival. I think it took some time to prepare because it was very well structured. Did you prepare together?
Yeah, well, we were brainstorming, or let's say like thought showering, as the British now say. They don't say like brainstorm, they say thought shower. Yeah, we're preparing for it together, and well, we watched the like sample video which I made, so and improved it. So of course we always do it together. Like there's not a piece in our school that which is developed like say like when the persons help each other and we give advice and recommend, of course.
Fantastic job, ladies. Well done. Okay, and at the beginning of your talk, I remember you mentioned that a teacher should be a good multitasker, both mental and physical. Why is it so important? Could you explain for our audience? Maybe not everyone watched your speech.
Well, I think everybody knows like what multitasking is and who multitasker is. So I think like there cannot be like any like doubt that you should be one, especially if you live in such a like megapolis like Moscow, for example. Then you have to like your time is really precious, and you have to prioritize, and you have to complete. Sometimes you have too much to complete, and you have to plan and schedule that. And you have to be efficient as a teacher. You have to set the example for the students. And my students, they always wonder like how I'd like the way that we do everything and we complete everything, and you have to set example for students, and if they see how you work and how fast you work and how efficient you are, they'll start copying you. So yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Okay, so Maria and Anastasia, you both look like a very efficient multitaskers, but yeah, yes, and you are very energetic, so I feel that like. And if a person is not if a teacher is not a multitasker, what he or she should do? Anastasia, do you have any tips how to improve that?
Well, I just I will come down to your question just in a moment, because I wanted to say something I wanted to say, so I practiced it, rehearsed. So I actually wanted to say that okay, here's a quote: we should be like jack of all trades and sort of master of all of them. So because I think that the modern teacher is a versatile teacher, is a person who is talented in many things. So for example, Maria is a like genius artist, and yeah, I have music education. So and yeah, so we've traveled a lot. So we are versatile personalities. So we are not you know, we are not reduced to teaching only. So that basically would be my first tip to people who want to be mentally multitasking. You should be able not only to tell your students about present simple and present continuous, yes, but about your experience, about how cool a person you really are, right? So what are your talents? What are your gifts? What have you already ticked on your bucket list, right? So yeah, I think this is the way to really reach out to them. So Maria, would you like anything to add?
Yeah, right. I mean, like, I just kind of like give example. Like, we're developing the programs now for English School #1. Then I'm getting my like education in IT right now. Then I'm reading like 10 books at the moment, and I have like 10 groups which I'm teaching currently like full time, and I'm also the headmaster of the school. So I mean, like all the stuff, and it's like not to mention like everything else. Like so. That's the thing. And
just one more tip, but it's for really brave people who can resist stress. So try to come to the class like totally unprepared.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah. Without any copies whatsoever. So just maybe just one. right? And imagine that, yeah, you have to now teach a class of 1 hour 20 without a single copy, without a plan, and you will find a way out. So if you do, it means that you already start multitasking. So you already start developing, you know, those. You will find, I guess, some inner things that you haven't even like suspected you would have.
Yeah.
So.
And there's one thing I would say that actually we are, like, I mean, as teachers, we have to, and when you're in the classroom, you have to look at one child, talk to the other child, then like prepare the handouts, switch on the listening, for example, start listening, be able to answer the questions at the same time. I mean, when you're in the classroom, you are to be a multitasker. And well, the thing is that we are now developing the skill naturally because of social networks, because we're all used to like getting information, consuming information, like digesting information, like recycling that.
Driving and texting.
Driving and texting, unfortunately, yes, which I would say,
don't do this, please.
Don't do this, like, we're professionals. Okay, right. So, but you can learn it, you can learn it. For example, there was a great book by Stephen Covey, which is called The 7 Habits of Highly Efficient People. So you can do that and you can read it, and well, you will. I think everybody could get something from this book. Yeah.
Very nice tips, especially that the teacher should be versatile, right? Because I think your students are lucky. You always have a topic to talk to them, because yeah, teacher is not only about grammar and about other skills. Yeah, sure. It should be a person, very interesting person for his students. Oh, fantastic. Okay, there was one more very interesting modern term: digital footprint.
Oh yeah,
which is our image on social media, right? So, Maria, could you share maybe some characteristics of a decent account? What do you mean by that? Because I remember you told at the festival that we need to maintain a decent account. What do you mean by that?
Well, there are two like signs to say, like it's a decent itself is a two-faced word, I would say. Like, I'm not talking about not having the drunk pictures, which is kind of obvious. I'm talking about the other side of it, I would say. Well, when I was thinking about the question, one more thought, which I think I should have said at the festival, like came to my mind, that actually, if I'm looking for the person online for his or her digital accounts, like in Facebook, like in Instagram, Vkontakte, and everywhere, like Twitter, it comes, it's really weird if the person doesn't have any. I would say, like, do you exist if you don't have a social account? I mean, that's true nowadays, because the kids, they will be looking for your profile. They will be like searching for your media accounts, like, and they will be like, let's say, scrutinizing that and examining like who you are and what kind of person you are. So I would say having a decent account, maintaining decent account is already like a must. You have to maintain it first. So post regularly, like post, let's say, post some food for thought, post some unique content, let's say, have personality, like you have to develop your ideas, that you have something to discuss with your students, because very often they come to me and say, Maria, we watched your stories, and so you can use that to teach them something, because they are opening your stories and they are looking at that. So by decent account in this respect, I mean like unique content, regular updates, interesting pictures. I hate the word interesting, but that's what it is. You have to be
different and marvelous.
Yeah, right. Fascinating, marvelous, whatever. Awesome. Absolutely, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So you have to be personality. You have to be a person who can set goals. I mean, like we all have social media accounts, and like Irina, Anastasia, like we all have, and it's always some kind of topic for discussion at our school. Always.
Yeah, I just had an idea of what I just thought. I was thinking, what kind of could put me off a person, any person, not even a teacher. What could put me off in a VK account, for example? And there is one thing: if a person reposts free giveaways, you know, so repost this and you will get iPhone 10. So if there are lots of things like this, and if your account has something like this, well, maybe it's not the best idea of it. So maybe you should create some like anonymous account for this, because it's a little because it takes time to scroll through the what do we call it? Oh, let's just call it wall, and to find something about you, right? So that's why you should like keep it to unique standard content and to
person and there are like reposts, I mean, like, let's say at least 2 or 3 of them, I would already, like, I would block the person really. And so the students would do the same. They would say, oh my God, like she reposts like everything. She reposts like phrasal verbs, let's say. But I mean, we have plenty of resources. We have many resources to have it. I mean, why would you post it on your wall? Send it to your messages in Kontakte. So the teacher should ask himself, herself a question: what kind of image would students like get when they open your social media accounts? You should have a very clear idea of your image. Of course, you should like delete everything which you don't want them to say, but at least stay real. I mean, if they ask you, if they see that you have a child and they ask you what's your son's name, and I mean, answer. Be a real person. Like we all like fine in that.
Right. I couldn't agree more, because we always ask them questions, right? Different kind of questions about their family, about their hobbies, and they want also to know more about you.
They ask us about that. For example, I had a budgie. I would say had a budgie because my budgie died a week ago, which I'm upset about. But they always asked me questions about this and about the creature and about like the way he behaves, and I gladly answered. And it was always topic for discussion in English, and it was more natural than just drilling, simple and continuous. Yeah.
I agree. So there should be an account with some original ideas of yours, right?
Yeah.
Original
the second account, which you, if you prefer just to repost everything, to store it somewhere, then have a second.
Yeah. I see now modern world. It's crucial to have that.
I mean, maybe that's not like really good advice from me, but I would say have an account. It's better than like having a bad account is better than not having an account at all. Okay,
your message is clear. Like, don't be dinosaurs. have an account.
I mean, students really respect the teachers who have stories, who have like Facebook pages more than.
Yeah, it's their language.
Yeah.
So
just
really. Yeah, great suggestions. And Maria also brought up topic of emotional intelligence, which is also very important for teachers. Also, I'm not going to ask you what do you mean by that. I think it's clear for everyone. But I have another question. Is it possible to develop this ability, or is it only innate? Like you have it or you don't have it? Can you do anything about that?
Well, the thing is, like, first, like, I think Anastasia will answer this question like more than me. Like, but I mean, I talked about it enough at Skyeng, like a Skyteach festival. But the thing is that it's like when we talk about that, we mainly use the definition of Daniel Goleman and his book Emotional Intelligence. So just to make it clear, like we're not using, it's not our definition, like of course, like so we're referring to Daniel Goleman, thanks to him, because this is a really cool book. If you're teaching C2 students, please use it at your lessons. It's really great. Okay, well. What do you say about developing that?
Yeah, so first of all, I would like to just one more time analyze what emotional intelligence is for teachers, right? Because before we say we should develop this, we need to understand what exactly you are developing here. And I would like to just give you a really nice part from the book that Maria mentioned. It's in the very beginning of it. And there is a line that goes like this. So on a gray, gloomy day, okay, imagine this rainy London day. London is the capital of Great Britain.
Kaliningrad, right?
Yeah, I close my eyes and imagine that. Okay.
Imagine it. So imagine a bus, you know, crowded with people, just cramped with it, and everybody gets on it, and everybody feels, you know, angry, and they're like pushing and like elbowing each other, elbow me.
Dirty clothes. I'm like,
elbow me. So you know how we usually feel on the bus. We just can't wait to get off. Right, and everybody is so morose and gloomy, and but a driver was greeting everybody with a broad smile, and and wished everybody a nice day, and and asked the people who were getting off. He was wishing them to have some nice experience today, and somehow the atmosphere on the bus became warmer, and people started smiling, and and this just one person against all those angry and why I'm overusing the word angry. I'm not a CPE teacher, so all those morose and dark people. So my message is that our students come to us in different moods. right? They have had a lot of things before coming into the classroom, and we should be for them the same thing as that bus driver. So we should, of course, it's not a new thought that we should leave all our stuff beyond the classroom, but however we feel, and however little we feel like boosting and energizing them right now, we are supposed to do this here. So we should be those little sunshines or big sunshines.
Just sunshine.
Just, okay. size regardless. So in their lives. So we should really ask them personal questions, not just how are you, but go deeper than that. Yes.
I mean, I have my favorite thing about that, about asking how are you. They say fine. I say really. They say no. And then I start asking questions. Why aren't you fine? And that's. I mean, ask them really. Like, and I can like, just trust me. They like to say no. Or if they say yeah, kind of. Like it also gives you ideas for questions. Like right. I mean, usually I get answer no, because we're in Russia. I mean, it's okay for us. I mean, we learned this thing from like American fellows, like to say fine, from British ones because they're polite. But in Russia, people are likely to say no, I'm not fine. Like, and then just tell you about the problems.
Yeah. I just recalled one thought that I heard at one of Petr Stepich's seminars, and I don't remember if he was the author of this quote or he quoted somebody too. So that the class should be for children one peak of a happy experience, right? So and of course it's sometimes hard to feel them happy, yes, about present perfect or something like this, but we should feel the classroom with our energy and our positivism, in a sense of humor, or maybe referring to some memes that they like, because I think the concept of meme is very important right now, because they are also using this in their language a lot. And if you can't maintain the conversation, and if you don't know what is the recent meme, by the way. Okay, so if you don't know the meme of disintegration from Marvel, I didn't watch the movie, but I know that. Okay, sorry, no spoiler alert.
No spoiler.
So, yeah. I know this thing when the guy is disintegrating, and some phrases from movies, and that they always say we should do them to reach out to them. So
and the thing is, like, it's all about teaching. It's all about so emotional intelligence. Coming back to the question, Anastasia was answering that already. So you can learn it. It's a learnable skill. It's a teachable skill. So first thing is like just make it like a bit like straight, like in a nutshell, create the atmosphere. I know it's easier said than done, and especially if you have none of that. But the thing is, we all like know, let's say, what kind of perfect parent is, kind of perfect teacher is. You should be one. And they should be the person whom they want to return to. I mean, even if they don't sometimes do the homework, maybe they have significant reason for that. Maybe their pet died, or maybe they have trouble in the family. I mean, you cannot like deny that it's sometimes more important than homework. So be like, let's say, like be a human. Just feel sympathy, feel like empathy. Try to be more compassionate when it's possible. Sometimes troll your students. I mean, be a real person. Just like ask yourself what emotions you would like to experience when you come to the classroom. Yeah.
If just a little bit on this topic, about emotional intelligence, not in the classroom but in general. So I remember the situation in which, yes, I became emotionally aware. Aware of things, and it was at the university, at our local Baltic Federal University, and that was our teacher, Irina Gromova, so the one, the guru of just our school and our region in general. So we were having classes with analytical reading. And that wasn't just reading and translating, as it's very often, unfortunately, turned into, but it was. She always managed to find questions really, really deep, and the ones where we would, start judging other people and criticizing them, and then she, and we were like kittens who she took and put us into our own things, right? And actually made us think in a different way, and about other people, about ourselves, about the way we should try not to judge first, but try to justify and analyze why the child is sad, and why is it like this? So can we maybe let it go, or can we press, or can we forgive, or can we laugh it off, or should we?
And developing the reasoning for all these questions, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should really show that you care. That's very, very important. Yeah, teacher's personality and his attitude. Yeah. Ladies, great ideas. I think our audience can make some notes on how to develop this emotional intelligence. Yeah, great ideas.
It's all about the question of broadening your own emotional spectrum. I mean, you cannot be like this. I mean, you're a teacher. We still have high standards for teachers, really. And the thing is, we cannot be just black and white. Emotional intelligence is about teaching you to be able to shades. Yes. Even we have black, white, and gray. Right.
Right. Yeah, emotional intelligence is a criteria that we apply to teachers at our school, so they should, they should be able to recognize emotions, and they should be
handle
able to handle them, to control them, and to express them.
You know, last year I was in Britain doing CELTA course, and I was getting feedback from my colleagues, and they told me that when I'm in the classroom, I was emotional dictator. And it was this state of emotional dictatorship. I was actually setting my students' mood, and actually they were experiencing the emotions I wanted them to experience.
Yeah, that's
that was a thing.
Priority. Yeah, priority. Nice term.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So a good teacher is a great psychologist, first of all.
I mean, we get education with psychology. I mean, again, like it's part and parcel of being a teacher. I mean, and you have to develop these skills.
Yeah, but unfortunately, not all teachers apply this knowledge in their everyday work. They take everything for granted. They think that their students will come to them anyway. Because I know, I have heard about these things as well. So the things that you are talking about, they are, I will use the word important. They are very important.
It's okay, Irina. We're fine with that.
Yeah, it was just...
No, as a Cambridge speaking examiners, I'm start worrying.
Maybe you may prefer not to use this vocabulary. That's fine.
Ladies, I'm joking. It's okay. It's okay. So there was another very interesting term that Maria brought up, social disability. The idea was that maybe someday robots might substitute teachers. Personally, I think that it will never happen, but it's my opinion. But Maria asked a question. If you are going to lose your job or like being substituted, I don't remember exactly, what are you going to do? Ladies, could you answer the question?
I mean,
what are you going to do?
I'm going to the previous question, because if teachers are not analyzing the mood of students, the atmosphere in the classroom, I mean, what are they doing? I mean, what are they doing then? I mean, like, what is that teaching then in your mind that if you don't care about the students, if you don't do that? Well, what teachers, let's say, I would say perfect teachers are doing, they are like, working with big data, and big data are the emotions and everything like from your students, all the information you can read from them. And if you're not doing that, if you're just monotonously teaching them, well, by teaching in this respect, I mean that you're just mainly like, oh yeah, present perfect is when you say already, you have and you have third form of the verb. I have never eaten octopus, right? Right, that's it. I mean, like, that's not the way we should teach. I mean, like, that's the thing. So teaching is deeper. Teaching is more about other things, about the emotional involvement. So, well, personally, when I ask myself this question, what am I going to do if one day artificial intelligence is this great that it's going to try to attack and like bombard us with the, I don't know, like with invasion, then I'm now going to learn more about the personal emotional involvement. That's the thing, about adding more personal touch to the students, as we've been told by Irina, who is like guru really. And as she said, like she always told us, and at her classes it's always like that. You come there, you feel emotions, you feel the sunshine, you feel the warmth. Robots cannot do that, and they will never be able to do that, really. I mean, they may teach, like they may learn, like, but no, absolutely.
Yeah. Maria, this is very comforting for teachers. As I already told you, I believe we will be never replaced.
Only if you do, like, only if you develop your emotional intelligence.
Yeah, because
I have already developed.
Victor, when you say this, right? So what do you actually mean? What is? Oh, no, you are interviewing us. Sorry. And yeah, so
you can interview me. It's okay.
I mean, when we proudly say, yeah, we are safe. Robots will never substitute us. We should think, what is our human-only skill that can't be substituted by robots and technology? So just ironically, really, I've been thinking about it for like the last 3 or 4 months, and because I just imagine. Okay, let's imagine the situation. The second situation today. The first one was about the bus. Yeah, let's imagine we all have a chip in our hand. Right, or in our
like in one of the episodes of Black Mirror. If you watch that, then we have
so here, yeah, and this chip will be able to translate our thoughts into all possible languages on Earth, even in the Latin.
Nice.
So then we have to understand that the need to learn the language to communicate will disappear, right? So because we won't be needed as teachers of communication as it's really popular right now. So, but back to this. So, yeah, because technologies will be able to communicate our thoughts, but somebody will be thinking about tomatoes, and somebody will be thinking about Beethoven, right? So, technologies will be able to communicate our thoughts, but they won't be able to think for us.
Instead of us, yeah, right, for us.
And for us, that's where we as educators step in. We need to make sure that more of our students are thinking about Beethoven and and have some complex ideas of things and complex vision of the world rather than about tomatoes. We basically will, just as we've been doing in our schools, so we teach them to think in perspective, yes, and to feel deeper and to be able to analyze, right? So you take a pen and you're not selling it like in the movie, I don't remember which, but you have to come up with 50,
or something, yeah.
You have to come up with 50 ways of using this pen except writing, which is called divergent thinking, right? So this is about it, right? So that's where we will be competitive next to the machines. Because when we won't be, not only will we be able to teach how to communicate, but also what to communicate.
Yeah, so I think it was like I heard it kind of a couple of weeks ago about the medical, like it was about medical field, about the machines which which some city has or something, and they say like, okay, we can install latest technology, we can do that state-of-the-art things, like but machines can perform the section, they can give you the data. Yeah. But only human mind can analyze the data and make the right outcomes. I mean, okay, they beat us in terms of speed, in terms of, I don't know, like capacity sometimes, but I mean, like in terms of analysis, we beat them now. And the thing is, only the top ones will survive. So just think about that.
Awesome. Okay, anyway, let's be optimistic. We're better.
We are better.
Absolutely.
We created them, of course we're better. Right.
Okay, and the last challenge which was mentioned, information consumption, and was wonderful abbreviation FOMO. Could you tell us more about that? FOMO, fear of missing out, I remember.
Right. Well, I have a very strong FOMO myself. Yeah. Really, just information consumption is my hobby. I would say like #1 hobby, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know really. But I mean, the thing is, at our school, and it was from the beginning like that, we don't separate us from our students when we leave the classroom. I don't close the door, like lock it and say, okay, that's it, I'm done. Like my job is done, I'm home and that's it. Like, no, it continues in social media, continues everywhere. And it's like, the toy, like which you can touch, which you can squeeze in something. I mean, that's my FOMO. I am afraid of missing something significant, something cool in life of my students. I'm not a stalker at the same time. I just get, let's say, decent amount of information, decent amount of their life, information from their lives. Let's say latest movies, latest updates on something, and from video clips, memes, some kind of gossip sometimes. I mean, like, just, I don't judge. We don't discuss it really. I mean, I immediately stop myself from the start doing that. But the thing is, I know about it. I'm aware of that. And being aware really makes my students like look up to me really because I'm aware. And then like sometimes I mention something earlier than they do. And well, I would say the FOMO for me is a positive thing. Of course, it makes me really attached to things like that. But I mean, like, again, it's not the mania or something like that. Well, sometimes, like very often, it's that, for example, if I don't know something, there comes the first group and they tell me about this. Maria, have you heard of latest video clip or something like that? And I say no, and it's like, oh my God, no! And they tell me everything. Well, next group comes. Like they say, like, have you heard of us? Like, yeah. And I tell them sometimes more than they can tell me. And they are like, wow, she knows about that. Right, so that's the thing. And it's like, it comes in all sorts of things. And I'm always accessible through social media, which is great for my students because we communicate. Sometimes they ask me questions and it's more important than that they couldn't ask me questions, for example. About the homework, when they come to, it's not that they come to classroom and say, you know, I didn't understand that and I didn't do it. It's like, no, they can ask me question in the center, like in the middle of homework, and I can guide them sometimes. And they come to the classroom already, like with the ready answer. So that's the thing. So media and FOMO are important part of my life, integral part. What about you?
Wow. Yeah, talking of
it's like proficiency speaking when the person wasn't ready to answer.
Yeah, I was ready. I was thinking about my students.
Okay.
My personal example of FOMO is when they come and they start talking about something on the internet, something latest, and I don't understand. So yeah, and because I always ask them, well, please tell me the communities that you read so I could maintain the conversation with you, because they make fun of me that I don't understand what they are talking about. And yeah, and I think this, yeah, I already brought up the topic of memes today because I think that it's hard to talk seriously about memes, but I would try. But I would try because actually memes, it's an example of a literary device of allusion, right? So when you bring up the knowledge that many people share and you keep repeating it again and again, creating the feeling of community and creating the feeling of unity. And believe it or not, take it or leave it, take it better. So but memes, you do unite them right now. And yeah, and memes is something that can unite them with us. And this not knowing or rejecting to know or saying, oh, silly, and yeah, it's not number one policy, because it means that you're missing out on their lives and missing out on what is somehow important for them. Of course, not for all children, right? So some children are not into this, but I guess you would agree with me that most of them are into.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, once I was teaching at the local school here in Kaliningrad, like for this year as well, and they created memes about me, around 5 or something, and I laughed out loud. And also, your reaction to this is very important. I mean, like FOMO is closely connected to, like, linked to the social media thing. And if you don't know about that, I mean, if you don't know what children post about you, I mean, you can sometimes look at that. I mean, they are looking for our accounts. We can do the same. Like we can just pay them back with the same thing. I mean, and you have to have a right attitude to that. You should mold your right attitude to this. Like you can laugh it off. I mean, if in case it crosses the border, you should tell them about that. And this communication in the media, let's say the digital space, it's also like imposes certain like rules of behavior, I would say, right? So FOMO is is such a skill. It's the same skill as multitasking. You have to be informed, and it's better to be afraid of missing something out, because it may not be a party or something. It may be something more serious, for example, like incident or something, and you have to have your own opinion about that as well. Because when students, like you have a group and they have like 3 people think this and 6 people think this, maybe these guys were like, maybe they have some different opinion. And if you are an authority, then you can like tell them this is not right. And as teachers, we have to educate them like in all possible respects. So FOMO really just like develops you and gives you like broader spectrum of things you can talk about, and establishing authority in some way.
So in other words, it helps you to be to keep up to date, right, and to be maybe on the same wavelength for these students.
Well,
so it's not so bad, because I thought it's not very good. My husband has FOMO, which I'm trying to fight it. He's not a teacher; it's not okay for him, but for me, it's okay.
I think it's quite fine, but you know, the thing is, I want to say one more thing, which is I would say quite important. You know, in our school we don't have. I mean, I just returned from the seminar in Moscow. I guess like last night I flew back, and well, Moscow colleagues, they were really amazed because in our school we don't have we have around 500 students. We don't have any managers at all. So we only have teachers and students and parents, and that's it, nobody else. And this thing of being informed really helps you solve many things better, and solve many things faster. If you just see that something is happening and parents come here, they ask you about that. Children come here and they ask you about that. And I mean, this let's say facilitates the communication. This facilitates solving the problems and everything, really. So I think it's better for a teacher. It's a must-have skill. Yeah.
I see. Ladies, do you want to add any recommendations, maybe tips, or maybe I haven't asked about something which you wanted to talk about? Anything else?
Well, I would say there is one more thing I would really say. We're really kind of fanatical about our education, the education which we got at Baltic Federal University of Immanuel Kant, which is really a great place to study. And I mean, I would say really we were taught, let's say, in some way how to think there and how to think wider, think deeper. And we're very grateful for this opportunity and for to Irina for making us this and we've been developing for already how many years, 7 years or 8 years in this respect. And I mean, it helped us become more mature, and that's the thing which we transmit to our students. So we make them more mature, and we're really happy about that. You can ask us more questions about this, but I would say analytical reading is something which, if you don't have a linguistic education, just think about having a course in that, because it gives you a boost of your thinking skills, and it's something which is a must. If, for example, you didn't have a successful course at university, well, enroll, because there are now a lot of courses online and they are free, Harvard and what is that, Cambridge and everything.
Lots of them, really.
Lots of them, really, but it's a must. Well, I would say that really helped us in a great way. That's it. That.
Okay, so ladies, Maria, Anastasia, you're awesome, very positive, very optimistic. So it's a pleasure for me to talk to you. So thank you again very much for coming. Lots of wonderful ideas for our audience. Guys, and I want to remind you, if you want to teach online at Skyeng, please follow the link below the video and join us. We provide educational support at all stages of your work. So ladies, have a nice day, and lots of creative ideas, even more than you have now. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Right. Thank you.